We are joined by Joel Grisé from K3C Credit Counseling. You can guess your questions in via phone calls. We'll take them live on the air, 789-6559, extension 2803. You can send them in via email, ottawa.morning@ctv.ca, or check out our new Facebook page, CTV Ottawa Morning Live. So interesting thing, I mean, we're talking about what the government wants you to know about some of the people that are that you should be aware of. But I think people need to have a better understanding of exactly what it is and the services that you're going to offer once they choose to come to you.
Yeah. If you are under financial difficulty, there's not that many options out there. Like seriously, there might be 5 or 6 and maybe 1 or 2 is relevant. So we always look at, do you have an asset that you can sell to pay off debt? Is that an option for you? And that would be equity in your home or maybe something to liquidate. Then you look at, can you go to the bank and borrow money to consolidate your debt? Now, if they say yes, you want to make sure you change your behavior so that you don't get involved again with credit cards. But if the bank says no, and this is where we kind of come in, is where when the bank says no, people find themselves up against a bit of a wall where, okay, the bank's not going to consolidate my debt. I'm racked up on my credit cards. What do I do? And this is where we come in, because what we can do is offer a debt management program, which is very straightforward. It's an agreement that the debtor, the client, gets involved in with credit counseling services, where they make monthly payments to us every month. And what we do is we contact their creditors and say, okay, Leanne, let's say, is able to pay X amount of dollars every month. This visa is going to get their fair share. This visa is going to get their fair share. And most credit cards will stop interest, which is huge for people that are getting, that don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. If you can get the interest stopped, and then the money that's sent to creditors is actually reducing the debt, that's a pretty impressive thing. And at the end of the 4 or 5 years, you would have paid back all of your debt. We don't settle with creditors. We're there to help repay the debt. It's just a matter of giving a fresh start.
From start to finish.
From start to finish.
Now, how do people even assume that they can get zero interest, otherwise? I mean, this is something that just doesn't happen. You've got to be into this process.
Leon, on your own, it's very, very difficult. And if you call a creditor and say, hi, I need you to stop interest, a lot of times they refer them to us. They'll say, you can't do it personally, but if you go through K3C Credit Counseling, we'll accept a proposal that will allow us to stop interest, because it's pre-negotiated. I don't negotiate it with every client. It's pre-negotiated at a higher level with the Canadian Bankers Association and our association, and they've come to terms to, or they have an agreement that says, yes, if a proposal comes from K3C or another non-for-profit credit counseling agency that's part of the association, of the Canadian Association of Credit Counseling Services, we will stop interest. And it's really a no-brainer. I mean, they do it because they feel that the assessments that we do are valid. They're good assessments.
That must be, for some, even the biggest relief, is getting that interest, that interest canceled, because even if you're somewhat able to, and if you're in that position to even make the bare minimum payments, you're not getting anywhere close to being able to get to...
Wait, that's right. Because the average interest rate on a credit card is about 20%. So if you owe, I don't know, let's say you owe $10,000 on credit cards, then you're paying $2,000 a year in interest, right? So that's 166 bucks a month if you're looking at it.
At that point covering,
exactly.
Just trying to cover your interest rather than anything else.
Exactly, and that's assuming you're not using your credit card, you're just paying the interest. And then if there's credit insurance on your card, that's something that eats up some of those minimum payments as well. So it's all things that we look at to see, okay, how can we take the best steps to get this person out of debt?
How many pairs of scissors do you go through cutting up the credit cards that come in?
They're hard on scissors,
I was gonna say.
Especially that little chip there. You need an extra hard push to get through.
Is that that's probably one of the key things, is stopping
stop the use of credit. So we say, okay, here are some tools, the money management techniques that we use to make sure that you can start saving some money, so that when something comes up, you're not relying on credit cards, because as soon as you rely on credit cards, your debt is going up, not down. So the idea is to make payments that will see your debt go down over time, change how you've been managing your money so that you're more prepared to handle car repairs and next Christmas and all of these things, so that in 3, 4, 5 years, depending on the term that's affordable for you to pay out your debt, you'll become a pretty good consumer.
Speaking of consumers, it's funny because we've met a couple months before we headed into the Christmas rush and the Christmas spending.
Yeah.
Is this usually the time of year that you really see people with the final statements coming in from the holiday shopping, that right now is when panic mode starts to set in?
This is a great time of year because when you get involved in December in Christmas shopping using credit cards, it's very hard to figure out how much you've spent. And a lot of times it's only when you get your statement that you say, oh, what do I do? And making those minimum payments is very difficult, so people tend to seek out services this time of year. And I want to make sure that they're seeking out the right services and they're not getting involved in places that have false...
That the government is now warning you about sending you out a press release.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a short commercial break. Please send us in your questions. We've got another segment with Joel from K3C Credit Counseling. The number to call, 789-6559, extension 2803. And as I mentioned, you can send us in a question via email, ottawa.morning@ctv.ca, and check out our new Facebook page, CTV Ottawa Morning Live. We're back after this commercial break.